Good morning, sweet potatoes. I recently came across this article titled "Who Do We Spend Time With Across Our Lifetime?" and it was very interesting. The first line is how much time we spend alone. This kind of makes sense. I feel like the relationship that we have with ourselves now and in the long run will be the most important because it is the longest relationship we'll ever have. Looking at this chart, it really got me thinking, if the relationship we have with ourselves is the most important, how do we have not a good but a great relationship with ourselves? As we're moving through the morning, I want to thank Seed for sponsoring today's video. I've been taking their daily symbiotic every morning, starting with 1 capsule a day for 3 days before moving on to 2 daily. It's a probiotic and prebiotic that was developed for systemic health benefits beyond gut health. We'll get into what all of this means and how it ties into adulting and how to have a great relationship with ourselves when we make breakfast. But before that, I want to share what I journaled about last night. My thinking continues. If our objective is to have a great relationship with ourselves, what does it even mean to have a good relationship with yourself? I think it is loving yourself, it is respecting yourself, it is valuing yourself, and all of that includes self-acceptance and self-awareness. This reminded me of a triangle theory that I had. I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. It might be from the book Status Anxiety. This theory, as some of you may remember, is your true self, your perceived self, and your ideal self. The further away these 3 selves are, the more chaotic and frustrated and just done with yourself you are, because it seems as if you're wearing 3 very different hats. The person who you are isn't the person you want to be, and it's not the person that other people view you as. The closer the triangle it is together, so close to the point where it just forms a dot, I think that's where we all aspire to be. But let's be real, life is ever changing, we're ever changing. I don't think it's ever possible to sustain that dot and be at that dot forever, but that is the goal, and that is why we do the things that we do and why we think the thoughts that we think. So yesterday I did a little exercise with jams. So I'm just gonna go through this to share with you guys. Who is my true self? I feel like my truest self is who I was as a kid. The childlike wonder, I think it's something that I resonate a lot with. I had my head in the clouds. I have always had somewhat of a slightly addictive personality, which kind of made me be a pretty extreme and intense person. When I like something or when I want to do something, I'll do it as far as I can, and then once I get bored with it, I move on to the next thing. Over the years, I've become a lot more grounded in my values, but at the same time, I get easily distracted, so it's hard for me to stick with one thing or like one routine. More often than not, I'm more distracted than I am focused, and I used to be fearless. I wrote down here I was queen of the jungle gyms. I love the jungle gyms, just swinging, climbing, anything, roller coasters. Love them. How do you think others view you? I feel like you guys see me as a very warm person who is very thoughtful, who thinks a lot. Some people may see me as very direct, firm, and hard, especially with the people that I care about. I feel like because I have very high standards for myself, I sometimes project that onto other people. It is something that I'm trying to work on. I can come across as a perfectionist. I just want to show the best. I want to be the best. And sometimes that can come off as intimidating. I'm too cool for school. It can come off as me being cold. I think for as open as I am, a lot of feedback that I got from the survey, you guys want to get to know me more, the unscripted version of me more. So here it is. How I want others to view me, I think it's what has shifted the most since I last did this exercise. I used to want people to think that I'm very cool, that I'm very mysterious, that I'm very down to do things, to drink, to go party, that I'm one of the boys. Now, I just want people to see me as who I am. But for that to happen, I realize I need to show more of myself. Who is your ideal self? This was hilarious. James, sometimes I cannot. He is too funny. I was sharing my Chinese name with him and the meaning of the words, and then he was like, Rowena ought to be balanced tsai. I'm like, Yes, so balance. Share more of myself with people. The past couple of sit down and talk videos, this is just the theme of all of that. If you've lived your whole life trying to be perfect, there's going to be many layers that you need to unravel. And I think every video that I've talked about this, although it's the same theme and the same topic, it's like going deeper and deeper of loving and accepting myself more. The main thing that I got out of all of this, so the biggest discrepancy, I think it's soft and hard. Soft is who I truly am. Hard is how I can come off sometimes with people in my life. Also, Rowena ought to be balanced side versus easily distracted and also slightly addictive personality. So the next steps, once you've identified this, is seeing how far away these 3 dots are. And of course, the last thing we can reflect on, as always, is what systems can we put in place to help our dots and triangle become as small as it can be. I'll share one quote before we go make brekkie. Authenticity is a gap between your thoughts and your actions. The smaller the gap, the more genuine the lifestyle. As always, the first step is self-awareness. The steps to follow are building habits. A way I've been working on having a better relationship with myself is making time to take care of my basic needs. Is the epitome of that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. On top of sleeping earlier, waking up earlier, and practicing qigong regularly, I've also been cooking a lot more and eating cleaner, which have all made a positive difference in my overall well-being, which helps me be more proactive with having a good relationship with myself. Now, let's use my diet as an example. Even though I've been eating healthier, I still get bloated and gassy. So I thought I'd spend some more time learning about my gut health as well as investing in my gut health. While digestive issues like gassiness and bloating is a cause of a weakened gut microbiome, a compromised gut microbiome actually influences a lot more, like our immune system, our skin, and even our mental health. So I've known all of this for a while, having dug deep into the gut-brain axis as well as the skin microbiome for Beauty Within, but I thought it's time that I start being more proactive with my own health, which is why I decided to give seed a try, and I almost reached for doesn't this look like a giant minion? There's a smaller version, it looks like the shorter and fatter minion. This is like the tall and longer minion. As you mentioned a bit earlier, Daily Symbiotic is a 24-strain clinically studied probiotic and prebiotic. So how probiotics work is that our body and our gut is made up of good and bad bacteria. Probiotics are made up of good bacteria to help keep our microbiome in balance and in harmony, keeping our body healthy, keeping our body working well. And in Seed's Daily Symbiotic, it's actually a 2-in-1 capsule, which means the live probiotics will make it to the end of the large and small intestines where it's intended to go before being completely disintegrated and obliterated by our stomach acid. For those of you who are around the same age as me, might remember the Magic School Bus episode. So for those of you guys who are interested, Seed is sustainably delivered monthly. All of their packaging is either fully recyclable, biodegradable, whole compostable, edible, and or dissolves in water. They're really out here doing the most. If you guys are interested in giving Seed's Daily Symbiotic a try, you can get 15% off your first month's supply by using Rowena15 at checkout. And of course, everything is linked down below. All of that is just to say our body as well as our physical well-being plays a huge role in the relationship we'll have with ourselves. So it's important to look at where we currently are and see if there can be ways we can improve. So what this means isn't you don't need to get, a probiotic and prebiotic so that you can live this life. It's not about that at all. It's more so being curious about yourself, being curious about your health, and being proactive with taking good care of yourself, whether it be sleep, whether it be diet, whether it be exercise, anything, so that you can be in a good physical space, so that you can be in a good mental space. Because speaking from personal experience, it's a lot harder to do the inner work, the mindsets, when physically I'm not feeling 100%, and I need to start getting ready for Beauty Within's shoot. So let's go do that.
Another habit I've been mindful of is being aware of how I talk to myself. Anytime I catch myself putting myself down in my head, I try my best to take a step back and think about whether I'd say this to, say, my best friend, sister, or even daughter, and then rewrite the script with love. Here are some questions I'd ask myself. Am I being my biggest cheerleader? Am I being too hard on myself? And if so, why? Where do these standards come from? And do I want these standards for myself? Over the years, I've realized that when I was finally able to talk to myself like someone I love, appreciate, and accept, this was the very moment the relationship with myself started to flourish.
For me, yes, I don't know about how. Is it cutting for you on the left top?
It was brunch or something. That's funny. It was like,
No.
no.
It's getting cut off on my side, on this side. Hello, beauties. Finished.
You're not worried? Want to say hi to the potatoes?
Is it bad to mix Dr. Jones?
And
Like if I went with the blue syrup and the green cream?
no. They're all very soothing ingredients. Is there food here?
No, not yet. But if you want to go wash your face and stuff, go feel free to.
Make a tea and then take off my makeup.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay. In case you guys want to know how to do that, twist your hair like this, flip it in half, tuck it under. Good enough. Gonna leave this mask on for about 15 minutes. Drinking some ginger tea. Jams and I have been following along Lee Min-ho and Lee Sung-gi's videos on Lee Min-ho's YouTube channel. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty deep. I don't know if it's a Korean thing or an Eastern thing, but I appreciate how transparent and vulnerable both of them are, especially in, I believe it was episode 2, when they went to the restaurant and talked with each other. So, gonna catch up on the rest of the series called Jams and do another sheet mask after this. Double masking day. Hello, Vivi.
You look like a Miyazaki character.
Okay, let's watch. Let me set up though.
Are you gonna film yourself with a mask on?
Yeah, filming
Oh,
right
nice. What do you want to watch first?
now.
Should we finish The King first?
Can.
The second mask?
Yas.
I was cleaning my throat.
Well, we ended on a much chiller note, but I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of my adulting diaries. Thank you again to Seed for sponsoring today's video. Check the link in the description to get 15% off your first month's supply of Seed's Daily Symbiotic by using Rowena15 at checkout. So grateful for you guys for joining as always and watching all the way till the end. Voice hug!